Bonaduce, life coach. Danny Bonaduce, life.
That is me. I am Danny Bonaduce, life coach, and you should be giving me a call right now at 1-800-252-1025. Although we love getting emails from you, lifecoach@KZOK.com. Life Coach brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Let's say good morning to Paul in Everett. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. What can I do for you?
I got a DUI a couple of years ago. I'm half Canadian, and by that getting that DUI, I can't go back into Canada. They turned me around at the border because they say the DUI down here is a felony or something up there.
Right.
I've gotten a hold of the American Council, the Canadian Council.
Well, I'll tell you, before we go on there, Paul, I will tell you this. There was a time when I was getting turned away from Canada, and I didn't protest too much. I thought it was weird. I had business there once, and they let me in to do it. But then I didn't go back for well over a decade. And before I went up and thought, I'm going to get embarrassed again and possibly even arrested, I'm calling the consulate. And they said, have you been stupid in the last 10 years? And I said, no, I have not. And they said, okay, you can go. So they pushed whatever magic button they had to push to let me go. So I just drove straight into Canada about 2 or 3 months ago. So let's see. You called the consulate.
Right.
Okay, that'd be the Canadian consulate, correct?
Right.
That'd be the way to go. I don't think there's any point in calling the American consulate. Did you ask them all the questions? What can I do? Who can I call?
I did. And they more or less said, well, hey, you got the DUI, live with it.
Well, I can see them saying that. I think it's a little tougher than they need to be. In America, oftentimes when you get a DUI, let's say it's a felony and you're supposed to go to jail. But what do? You go to rehab. You start going to AA meetings and have your card signed by the guy running the meeting. There's got to be a certain amount of stuff that you can do to show your due diligence that this kind of living is behind you, and especially if you have a dual citizenship, and they will let you back in. So have you called them and said, what can I do? What steps can I go to that will appease you guys and you'll let me back into the country of which I'm half a citizen?
Yeah, and it's like when you do ask them something like that, they more or less close the door.
All right, well, you know what? For me, I have found, because here's the thing. I think it was it Washington? No, it was The Who. A member of The Who, I forget which one, got arrested in the States, and they wouldn't let him in to Canada. And then he ended up doing a show for the blind, and they let him in. That's what I'm trying to get at here. I think that there's an amount of work you can do to appease the Canadian government, to show them you're a decent citizen, and they will let you in. And if you show them you've gone to, I don't know about a rehab or not, that's up to you, and they're expensive and they're time-consuming, outpatient stuff. I think if you have a card that you can show them that you've been to this many meetings, you've been to this many outpatient meetings, I think they will let you in. Having said that, when I saw your phone call, I asked around the room, and we all think, sneak in. They're not. The Mounties, how sharp can they be? Look at those stupid hats. We think, and I think I'm dead serious, that I think you can get in if you show the work that you've been to outpatient rehab and been to 50 AA meetings. But if you wanted to, I don't think it's very difficult to sneak into Canada. There's no border, really.
Right.
You go up to the border where you're supposed to drive in and walk 100 feet to the right and then walk. And I think you'll be in Canada.
Hey, Paul, how many years did you say has gone by?
2 years.
2.
And when was the last time you called the Canadian Embassy? Because I don't like this.
Yeah, it's usually 5 years, and then they'll reconsider.
It was last year. But see, on the whole thing about it is I didn't have to go to all the AA meetings or nothing like that because I blew a .064.
No, what? What? You were sober?
Yeah.
Who arrested you?
State Patrol.
For a .6?
4.
.4, you could fly an aircraft. Oh, I'm getting mad. Did you call a lawyer?
Well, no, not yet. It's just when we went up to the border for a family reunion, they made me turn around when they took my passport and did something with it.
Yeah.
Made me turn around, and it's like, what the? You know?
No, I'm with you, Paul. It's embarrassing. That happened to me. Same exact thing. You know, I always say, and it's not true, but I always say I've been deported from Canada. I haven't really. They just kicked me out. But I think you need to call a lawyer. This is crazy. You shouldn't have gotten the DUI. You were stone sober. A .4. I think an airplane pilot can have a .2. I forget what you're allowed to do, but one of the things you're allowed to do is drive a car on a .4. You need to call in a lawyer right now and get this expunged immediately, and you'll win. Something crazy happened, Paul, and you should not stand still for it. A .4, it's a code word for sober. Good luck with that there, Paul. Oh, I'm out of my mind. Poor guy.
Yeah, it shouldn't have gotten to
He
this
shouldn't
point.
have even agreed to go. You know, you have to agree to go to jail. You could end up getting shot these days. But once you got there, you should have called your lawyer and bailed out. A .4 is completely sober. Buy the book. Buy their book. It's sober.
If you've got a question for the life coach, you should be dialing 800-252-1025. Any kind of problem, Danny Bonaduce will help you through the other side. Make the call. You can email 24/7 to lifecoach@KZOK.com.
If I was having an appendectomy and I found out my doctor, my surgeon, had a .4, I'd say go ahead. You're fine.
We've got an email here from John in Redmond. The company I work for has a rideshare program linking up employees who have similar schedules and commute from the same areas.
Smart.
I participate. It's more eco-friendly, and the company offers financial perks for the carpooling. But lately, the coworkers I ride with have been staying at work later and later. How do I make sure we leave on time without seeming like a slacker?
Oh, I don't. You know what? I think people, and if you know what, they're the slacker. In my opinion, maybe one of them is doing all sorts of crazy work, and the whole company's going to benefit. But here's what I'll tell you: what's happening with your friends? They can't get their work done. Nobody's staying late because they're geniuses. They're staying late because they can't get their work done. You're the guy that can get. You got an 8-hour day with a half hour for lunch, and you're getting all your work done. I think you need to be polite. I don't know if you have kids and you can use that or whatever it is, but otherwise, if you don't want to have to use anything, you need to tell. I need to be home. I don't know how long the commute is, but I'm going to say 7:30. Is that crazy? Is that too late? Not to leave work. To get in the car, get downstairs, everybody get ready and get their stuff, and you have to be home by 6.
Should be home by 6. That's crazy. If you leave at 5.
I was thinking you leave by 6. Yeah. But all right, whatever it is, you need to tell them this is what time I need to be home. And by the way, I'm so not opposed to lying. If this were another thing where I was getting really serious and stuff, I would totally say, oh, I didn't tell you this. I'm a diabetic. And I can't travel with my insulin. It's got to stay in the fridge, man. And I can't bring needles to work because they frown. You got to get me home by 6 o'clock. What are you, crazy? But I think in all earnestness, you let them know whatever your responsibility is, a wife that misses you, kids that rely on you, TV shows you wish to watch. This is your free time the second it hits. And I'm telling you, I'm right on this. They're not staying late to be great guys. They can't finish their work, and you can. You're the better worker. You need some. I need to be home by 6. That's only fair, man. If you want to continue to carpool with me, I need to be home by 6. We should all, vote. What time are we all going to be home? And that way, if you accept, then whatever time you get home is fine because you voted on it and agreed to it. If not, tell them what time you need to be home, see the wife, the kid, get your food, and see reruns of Friends. And then stick to that. That's just me, maybe, with the reruns of Friends being that important. But I think I'm right on that. They can't get their job done, and you can.
Oh, it's awful. That happened to Matt. Not this job because, he's good friends with his boss. But his boss didn't like his wife and wouldn't go home. And he wasn't allowed to go home until his boss went home. And he eventually had to call the life coach and say, what do I do? And had to have a sit down.
You know how I get a lot of my ideas from TV?
Yeah.
Yesterday, on American Dad, the cartoon, yes, the cartoon, the boss's wife of the CIA was being held in Fallujah, and now he wanted to work all night. So the American Dad set him up with another girl, and he killed her by accident. So, if you watch American Dad, that's really could go really south on you.
Oh.
It was an accident.
800-252-1025. Make the call if you've got a question for the life coach. Remember, change your name if you need to. You can always email lifecoach@KZOK.com. Deborah in Redmond writes, I used to work very closely with a guy I didn't like. He was very condescending, and even though I'm older and outranked him, he wasn't supportive of me. We had a change at work, and I left the team we were on. Now I come to find I'm being reassigned back to the team he is on. I'm not good at pretending I like someone I don't. I don't respect him. He doesn't seem to respect me, even though I outrank him. How can I make this work?
Well, you know what? Outrank him. I don't know exactly what you do because at this point you could say if I outrank him, you could. I don't know. I don't know what your policy is. Can you write a guy up? I don't know. I think I've been written up. I'm not really sure. But here's what I'm going to say to you on this, that I don't think you need to hide your displeasure. Sarah's known me since we worked in another state and other people. Let me make that very clear. Well, I didn't like, not only, this might have been me because I didn't like a couple of guys, but there was one guy near me I had to deal with every day, and I did not like him. And I'll tell you this, I made it really clear that I didn't like him, and I found that didn't improve anything. My situation was not better for letting this guy know I don't like him. I think the fact that I told him I didn't respect him, he didn't come up and deal with me too much anymore. He didn't get in my face. But I think you need to very politely make your feelings known. This guy's probably got the same kind of feelings about you. And you know what? You could be misreading him. I found out through my years that I have off time. I thought people, they didn't like me. They're not supporting me. And they turned out they really liked me. This had a weird way of showing it. I think you need to basically, without being impolite, always make your preferences known with the people around you, because they might just be sending off the wrong message and they actually do respect you.
We've got an email here from Douglas in Seattle. I currently work for a very good company, making over 6 figures. A multinational
You make 7 figures?
He makes $140,000 a year.
Oh, over 6 figures. Okay.
A multinational company has contacted me and is very aggressively trying to steal me away. Their offer will be at least $15,000 more. If I stay at my current company through the end of the year, I get some stock, which if I leave, I'll forfeit. If I take this new job, is it out of line to ask for a signing bonus, a car allowance, and a severance package? What are your thoughts?
You should ask for all of that. You should. How do you know? I'm fairly embarrassed to ask for stuff, but I've had wives, agents, friends ask on my behalf, and I got everything. It seemed like weird and uncomfortable. I would like a company car. Who gets that? And it was asked, and I got it. Of course, it said some radio station across the side of it. But
had your face on the side.
My face, which was so lame and embarrassing. But no, I think you should absolutely ask for. Just think of it this way. Those things are out there because somebody gets them. And if somebody gets them, why not you? And you know who I'm quoting right there? Russell Wilson. Why not me? Why not? I work hard. I'm good. He practices. You practice. You're good at your game. You're being pirated away for $15,000 above what all you're already getting. You know why you're doing that? Because you're really good at your gig. And you didn't say at any point, I feel like a traitor. I feel bad. So you're not being held back by, your feelings and stuff. So you're getting a good, clean move to this other company if you go, and I suggest you go. And ask for what is yours, because they dangled this carrot because you're really good and they really want you. Why not get a car? Why not get a signing bonus? And if they say no because let's say they don't have a car, they're not mad at you. They just know this guy asked for what he wants. This is a real, that's how this guy is going to play. I think it's a great idea that you ask for all 3 of those things. If not, think about which ones are you the most likely to get and still ask for all of them, because like I said, they came after you. That's all the time we have for Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach. Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach, brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce or men, call 1-800-DIVORCE.